Yes, welcome to the Wisdom Talks. I'm Joe Wisdom. Today is a special day. And we want to a little bit walk away from what we have been doing, wisdom for business, wisdom for life. I want us to get into another level of wisdom for relationships. And when we talk about wisdom for relationships, is that life revolves around relationships. You are where you are because of a relationship. Your father and mother met, and out of that relationship you are born. You are in that business because of a relationship. You are in that job because of a relationship. You are in that position because of a relationship. So life revolves around relationships. And when we talk about relationships, relationships are diverse. We can talk about intimate relationships, opposite sex relationships. You can talk about work relationships, many relationships. And today, to be specific, I want us to deal with what we call relationships that are either intimate or that are in marriage. I just want us to talk about relationships that are that rally around people, individuals. And I want to specifically tackle something we call rejection, because everywhere there is acceptance, there is rejection. There are some places you go and you'll be accepted. There are others that you go and you'll be rejected. Can you remember a story in the Bible where there was a man called Jacob? And Jacob, in his lifetime, he was a very hardworking man. At some point, he loved a girl by the name of Rachel. Unfortunately, the dowry that the father demanded was 7 years of hard labor. And the man was ready to pay to the last penny. He worked for 7 years. After some time, the father-in-law realized that this young man, is not wiser than me. So he decided to make the wedding arrangement at night. So the man was given the wrong woman by the name of Leah. And Leah outrightly was rejected, suffered rejection from Jacob, because this is not the girl he loved. You might be there, maybe married or in a relationship, and at one point or the other, you have been rejected. I came to let you know today that rejection is not the end by itself. Let me read you a quote here. Say that, don't be upset when people reject you. Nice things are rejected all the time by people who cannot afford them. Let me repeat that again. Don't be upset when people reject you. Nice things are rejected all the time by people who cannot afford them. You remember the story of the rabbit, of the hare? The hare and the ripe fruits. When the hare realized that he could not reach the ripe fruits, what did the hare say? They are not even ripe. So many times when people cannot get to where you are, they will talk about you. They will scandalize you. They will talk all manner of bad things about you. If you are so cheap, then anybody can afford you. But if you sell at a premium, then very few people will come close to you. So there are some people who basically talk ill about you just because they cannot get from where you are. Rejection is not the end by itself. It tells you that you are a person of worth. Let me begin by saying that as we have seen biblically, rejection has been there. People suffered rejection even in the days of old. So you are not the first one suffering rejection. If you were in a relationship and somebody basically rejected you without even giving you the details, know that if you are not consumable, anything that is rejected locally, maybe it's meant for export. And I know there's a lady looking or watching me right now. You have been rejected by 3 men, by 4 men. Actually, you are even suffering from what we call the Samaritan woman syndrome. You had 5, and even the one you have is not yours. I want to tell you that if you are not meant for locals, then you are meant for export. Maybe your husband is somewhere in the US, is somewhere in China, who knows? And if you get some inspiration that is in China, please, you need to begin preparing to go to China. You need to begin rehearsing and training yourself how to eat snakes, because very soon you'll be going there to meet your husband. So don't kill yourself just because you have gone through rejection. The worst thing is to reject yourself when other people reject you. And this is why I say it's good to make sure that you become a brand. A brand is a brand. A brand is not a brand because it has been approved by anybody. Become like a lion. You know, a lion is the king of the jungle. But we get to ask ourselves, who made the lion the king of the jungle in the first place? Who called a meeting to determine who will be the king of the jungle? Nobody. So the lion one day woke up and realized, we have no king in this jungle. So it made a public announcement. From today, I'm the king of the jungle. And it had to change some of the way it does things. It had to change the way it walked. When you see a lion walking, it walks like a king. Nobody approved it. But when the lion is stepping into the jungle, it doesn't need to inform anybody. It steps into the jungle and every other animal scatters. It's called branding. I saw another post somewhere saying that Lion speaking, King Lion speaking, saying that no matter the economy of the jungle, I cannot eat grass. It continues to say, it's not pride, it's who I am. When you know yourself, you'll not be there because people can have approved you. You'll be there because you understand your worth. So don't suffer from people's rejection. People can reject you, but God has not rejected you. There's still something special about you. Just go back and look at something special about you. Don't give anybody an opportunity to bring you down. Ben Carson once said that no one can make you inferior without your permission. If you don't bed low, no one can sit on you. So rejection will only be suffered by people who are doubting their worth. And you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I'm setting you free today by the word of truth. Great men went through rejection. Great things will be fought. You remember Uber, the Uber we are now using that has revolutionized transport industry? That if I want to go somewhere, it's just on my phone and somebody will pick me from wherever I am. Imagine it was fought at the beginning. People who fought it never knew what they were fighting. It has even become a greater blessing to people who are fighting it. So when you look at our president today, we refused him. We rejected him in 2002. Today he is the president. Hello? So anytime you go through rejection, just know that you are worth a million things that you can do, and you bounce back and people will appreciate you. Just get yourself busy. Do something that will shake the minds of the people who are rejecting you. Allow me to walk quickly to men who are rejected. Look at David. He suffered rejection. By the way, did you know that soldiers are not celebrated in the battlefield? Soldiers are celebrated when they come home with victory. So nobody will be there celebrating you for doing nothing. No. Go into the battle fight, come with victory, and we will celebrate you. That is the story of David. Look at this. It's only God's generous who go through rejection. I'll take you one by one. Number one, you'll be rejected if you're successful. Look at Isaac. Genesis 26. Isaac began farming. And he becomes so successful, that the Philistines gathered and they planned how to bring him down. Actually, they sent him away. Did you remember the story of how they began feeding the wells with soil? Because he was a successful farmer. So if you're successful, people will reject you. So they are not rejecting you because you have nothing. They are rejecting you because there is something you have that they don't have. That's a good reason to be rejected. And you must prove yourself. This happens in organizations, institutions, and companies. Anytime you are successful in a certain task, people will reject you. People will begin fighting you for nothing. But you should not die hard. Keep fighting. Keep doing what you're doing. At the end of the day, there is a saying that says, if you can't beat them, join them. If they can't fight you, they will join you. Number two, you'll be rejected if you are favored. Look at Joseph. Genesis 37. If you are favored by your boss, if you are favored by your parents, people will reject you. If you are favored in your organizations, people will reject you. Joseph was basically, hated. He was rejected by his brothers just because his father loved him. His father favored him, made him a tunic of many colors. And they nicknamed him the dreamer. But do you know what? At the end of the day, they went looking for Joseph from wherever he was after selling him in Egypt. They went looking for him because he was the carrier of the breakthrough of their lives. Their life depended on Joseph. If he denied them food, they could have died out of hunger. So people will reject you because there is something. People who don't understand the magnitude of help you carry for them, they will reject you. But later on, they will come looking for you. Number 3, you'll be rejected or hated if you dream big. See the same story. People want you to be mediocre than them. Actually, you become a very great threat if you begin to think outside the box. If you begin to challenge the system, people will hate you. If you begin to challenge what we call the status quo, even in your family, if you begin to challenge the status quo in your community, in your culture, people will rise against you. But do you know why they are rising against you? Because you are thinking ahead. We say that nobody who can backbite you if they are not behind you. Someone will only backbite you because they are back. Very, very, very important for you to note that when you feel rejected, know that there is something that you carry. When you find a lot of opposition, call yourself a meeting and ask yourself, what is this that I'm carrying that I'm making people feel threatened about me? You'll be rejected if you have a big dream. Let me tell you, nobody can hate you if you are a mediocre. If you are not going anywhere, nobody will be distracted. People hate someone who is distracting them. People hate somebody who is taking attention away from them. So if you are trying to take attention from the status quo, and now people are getting interested in what you are doing, people will hate you, people will fight you, people will oppose you. But let me tell you, don't even give them an opportunity to give you any excuse or to give a reason why they hate you. No. Keep doing what you're doing. There's a greater reward ahead of you. You'll be rejected because of your calling. Do you remember Moses? Moses was rejected. You remember even his brother and his sister questioning him? Just because of his calling. People will basically reject you because of your calling. If you are called a deliverer for your family, even your brothers and sisters sometimes will not agree with you. They will oppose you. They rise against you. Your church members will rise against you if you have a specific ministry and they feel that your ministry is bigger or greater than theirs. That insecurity is there in churches. That insecurity is there in families. That insecurity, there are people who have qualified and who have studied and qualified and achieved a degree of what we call a PhD. Pull him down. People are in the business of pulling others down, and nobody who can climb up the ladder of success by pulling others down. So you'll be rejected because of your calling. You even be rejected because of your background. Some people look at where you are and say that from that family, he cannot be successful as he is. So people will basically look down on you. People will disapprove you. People will not approve of you because of where you are coming from. Judges chapter 11, a man called Jephthah. At some point, his brothers, his step-brothers, gangs against him and sets him away and calls him a son of a prostitute. Tells him and asks him that he cannot inherit anything in his father's house. Later on, Ammon. The Ammonites come fighting the Israelites. And do you know who they go for? They go for Jephthah. The funny thing about Jephthah is, when he was sent away, he went and ganged up with a team and made some and came up with soldiers. Actually, he trained his own soldiers. Jephthah had his own army, and that is the army that they called to go and fight the Ammonites. And he told them, before I come, we have to have an agreement that I'll be your leader. That is how Jephthah became a judge in Israel after being rejected. You are crying there that you are being rejected. But let me tell you, Don't even concentrate on the rejection. Continue building yourself. Go back to school, lead. Actually, you should thank God they are rejecting you so they cannot give you company. Concentrate in what you want to do and where you want to go. Concentrate with your assignment. When you concentrate with your assignment, then any other person will fix themselves in your life. Jephthah became a judge in Israel after being rejected by his brothers, by his stepbrothers. Now, you'll be rejected if you want to dare something big. If you want to break a tradition, you'll be rejected. David was basically rejected because he wanted to confront Goliath, where his brothers who are in the army of Saul, they could see Goliath and run away. So when he came and questioned, actually he asked, what shall be given to the man who brings down this giant? And his brothers began asking, what have you come to do? When you want to challenge the status quo, people will reject you. David went against Goliath, brought him down. And that is how his own family received breakthrough. The family received great wealth. The family was exempted from taxes. And more importantly, the family was connected to the king's family because David married the king's daughter. Look at the benefits that you get even after rejection. So don't allow yourself be distracted by people who don't understand where you are going. Jesus himself came and challenged the system, and the Pharisees could not stand him. They were proving that they were fighting for God, yet they were fighting God himself. Because there's no way you can be fighting that Jesus is breaking the law. Yet, Jesus was the Son of God. So Jesus is here, being able to challenge the system of the Pharisees, challenging them, and yet they rejected him. Yet he became the savior of the world. I want to tell you who is watching me right now, if you have been going through rejection, rise up, dust off yourself, and tell yourself, I am more than this. I am going to become what God created me to become. I'll be a savior of the very people who are criticizing me. Those people who are criticizing me. I know they want to push me to the next level. I'll not die hard. I'll not give up. I will not hate myself. I'll not look down on myself. I will not do anything that you cause me, that you cause my self-esteem come down. I will stand up, my head high, because I know that I'm called for more than this. And at the end, I shall be a blessing even to the very people who are critiquing me. God bless you so much. I am Joe Wisdom, and this is Wisdom Talks.